Okay. Good morning, everybody. I call this October 1st Judicial and Public Safety Committee meeting to order. Can I get a roll call, please? That's right.
Chair Evans.
Here.
Member Chaplin.
Here.
Member Childress. Member Dessart. Member Eckhoff. Member Guston. Member Krajewski. Member Ozog. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu. Member Zay.
And remember, you just walked in.
Yep.
Okay, do we have any public comment?
No public comment today.
No public comment. Okay, so for chair remarks this morning, I just want to say that the DuPage County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management Communications Unit, commune, I think I said commune, COMU, is engaged and effective because of its member skills, training, and experience and dedication. The 2024 Democratic National Convention was held in Chicago from August 19th through August 22nd, with additional activities taking place in the days leading up to and following the event. I'm so proud to say that our state and federal partners were directly supported by COMU volunteers. So the volunteers include Randy Broadwell, Andy Karen, Woj Mardula, Brian Schmitz, Ryan Shuda, Tim Wheeler, and Paul Zucker. In case someone became unavailable for the assignment, Jim Norris and David White were ready to step in at a moment's notice. Eric Burmeister and Rod Simon covered our quick response team and for the other real world incidents. The temporary conversion of our pickup truck into a mobile communications support asset was made possible by Jerry Schmitz's ingenuity and craftsmanship. While John Nebel was committed to the DNC Core Communications Planning Team, Paul Zucker was an OHSEM COMU deployment team lead. In addition to his multiple missions on Rapid Com 4, he contributed 90 hours of volunteer service to the DNC. A team is only as strong as the sum of its parts. Our OHSEM COMU volunteers collectively donated over 250 hours to the DNC. I want to thank this team for their selfless dedication to people in DuPage County, the region, and the state of Illinois. Operational security often means that we cannot tell others about mission details, but I want to recognize the silent professionals at OHSEM. They're trusted and respected by everyone in the public safety realm. Thank you, everyone, for their tireless dedication. And with that, I would like to move to, can I get a motion to approve the minutes for the Tuesday, September 17th, 2024 meeting? Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. And moving on to procurement requisitions, can I get a motion to approve JPSP-24-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Monterey Security Consultants for physical security services for the county campus and the health department for the period of March 1st, 2025 to November 30th, 2025, for a total contract amount not to exceed $1,352,612.32. This is the second and final option to renew. Is there any discussion on that? Okay, member Yu and then member Eckhoff.
Thank you, Chair. I just had a quick question with regard to the fact that this is a period of March 1, 2025 to November 30th, as opposed to like a full year. In the contract.
That is a good catch. We're gonna.
Oh, can you not hear me?
Yeah, can you
That's
just
weird.
repeat the question?
Oh, okay, sure. So my question is relating to the time period of March 1, 2025 to November 30th, 2025. And this is not for a full year, but it's a contract of over $1,300,000. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, we are trying to bring the security contract term consistent with the county's fiscal year to make it easier for budgeting. And by renewing now, that allows us to do that. So we renewed it for the full amount of the contract that we, as if it was 12 months, but we most likely will not need all of that. Thank you.
Member Eckhoff.
Well, has it been decided how this is going to be allocated between the health department and county campus? And is the circuit clerk gonna get anything that she wanted, or is that all come in the future?
This does include what we have covered traditionally, the health department, which reimburses OHSCM for its security services, as well as the other facilities. There will be money in there if there's additional coverage needed, because again, it's a 12-month amount that we're only going to have for 9 months.
But does the health department need to send us a memo that we need 2 people for every 24 hours, or how do we decide, or is it already in place, how many people are gonna be on campus and at the health department?
It's already in place, Member Eckhoff, and has been for a few years. The health department portion of the invoices, and the invoices are broken out by post, health department, community center, this building. They pay for their exact amount of service that they get.
So that's not gonna change?
Right now, no, it's where it is. We've got an estimate in there for when the community resource center opens to change the number of hours. That's been built into this budget, as well as the amount of the reimbursable from them. So it's a wash to OHSCM.
What about the circuit clerk's office? Are we gonna start assigning people over there? Or does she have to come forward again and we approve it?
I'm going to defer to Nick on that.
As Craig said, this is a blanket contract. We have as far as the cap space in it, we have plenty of cap space. If the board decides to put the security component in Candace Adams' budget, the 75,000, we have capacity to do it. As we said, this is we will pay only what we use out of this contract. The 1.35 million is, we expect more than what we need because it's a 9-month instead of 12-month. So if the board decides to move forward with that, we have capacity in this contract to cover that.
So that's the question that's gonna come back to the board, and we would have to.
You as a board need to determine that, whether you put that into the budget for
It's in the
2025.
budget now.
It's in it right now in the chair's recommended budget, but you as a board have to approve that.
But if we approve the budget, are 2 people gonna start being assigned through this company over at the circuit?
If you approve the budget, we can move right away with Monterey Security to assign a person over there.
Because my concern is, it's my understanding that the sheriff got what he was requesting in terms of at least funding for personnel. So if he's got funding for personnel, he's gonna have a lot more people in the courthouse, which should reduce the need for this type of security at the circuit clerk's
And
office.
that's the nice thing about using Monterey Security. You can you can eliminate that at any time throughout the year. If let's say that they were able to staff up and everybody's comfortable with the level of security, you can staff and remove that Monterey Security at any time.
So we don't go from what the circuit clerk believes is not enough to double what she was requesting.
No, and you have the ability to move. That's why using an outside consultant, you can add, you can take away at any time throughout the year, and we're only charged for the actual hours worked.
So, just so I get this straight, we passed the budget as the chairwoman proposed. Is somebody gonna go get security people for the circuit clerk immediately, or?
We'll work with them, and
that's
we will
not a-
staff that up. As soon as the budget passed, we'll work with them to enact the Monterey Security
So
individual
if the
in her
budget
office.
passes as is for that line item, you will automatically go get.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Member Krajewski and then Member Chaplin.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. If this is only a 9-month contract, why we budgeted $1 million, full year? Why don't we just budget the 3 quarters of it?
Because as Nick explained, we only pay for what we use.
I understand
So-
that we have a lot of not to exceed contracts, but if we budget a 1.3 million, that's allocated right in our budget. And therefore I don't have another 300,000 or 400,000 I could spend on something else. I mean, I could take this full year contract and put it to where you say it's going to be only 9 months, and I could use that 400,000. And this board could actually allocate that money somewhere else. So why would we tie up? I know it's a not to exceed, but why would we overinflate it to tie our hands for doing something else with the money?
That was the amount that was specified in the original RFP for year 3. So we just renewed for that amount, but we only spend what the county board has
Well, I'm saying
approved for
we're only using
coverage.
it for 9 months, so we're not, I would say we amend this thing to do it 9 months.
The
and
one
not to
thing-
exceed, and then use that money for something else.
So the one thing I would add, I mean, obviously the board, if you reduce it, that's fine, but realize too, next year CRC comes online and we don't quite know what month they're gonna come online and the level of security. So you need to have some ability to scale up or scale down, because this will be the first year next year that it comes online.
We never know what's gonna come up in the future. That's why we have.
But that, the
contingencies and
CRC though is a
other things.
different animal. That's a
Well, yeah,
whole nother
but
building.
when's that gonna be open?
They're talking mid next year.
Yeah, I mean, July, August, so, but I mean, again, and that would, it just seems like we put too much money in this contract. This is one. I mean, I still don't get a good answer because the CRC's coming on is why you think that's gonna be?
Yeah, I mean, it's without a doubt, this contract is, I mean, at the end of the year, we are confident there will be money left. How much? We don't know. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's a 12-month contract that we're only used for 9 months because we're trying to get on the regular cycle.
Right.
So, but there are unknowns that we have, obviously the new security for Candace, as well as a CRC. How much of that extra 3 months that we need? I don't know.
All right, well, I still think we should put less in there.
Okay, member Chaplin?
It's fine. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Member Desart?
Yeah, I totally agree with member Krajewski that we should have this be 9 months, which would be 1,014,459 for 9 months. And that way that frees up almost $300,000, as member Krajewski said, for something else. So this is only, and you said, Nick, that we could scale up or scale down. So when the CRC opens, we'll just have to scale up. But for this contract, I agree with member Krajewski that it should be 9 months, since that's what the contract is for. Thank
So
you.
if we scale up, my question, if we scale up, then we have to come out with a new contract, then we have to,
I would have to defer to procurement on the contract.
Okay,
I do
so-
know that the only money that is actually spent is money that is budgeted. If it's for additional coverage at the CRC, the health department pays for that. If it's for the circuit court or for any other facility, that comes before this board before any of those services are expended. So this covers the PO, so we don't have to go back and adjust it. But we're not just going to arbitrarily add service without the board's approval.
Yeah, and that's fine, but if we're budgeting this for 9 months, let's pay for 9 months.
I think we are paying for 9 months, right? I mean,
I'm sorry.
okay. Member Zay, and then member Guston, and then Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm conservative, but if there's one place I'd rather overspend, it's security. We've heard concerns from, over at the courthouse. We have the new resource center coming up. We don't know what's going on. Again, we had a surplus this year of unspent stuff. I'd rather pay it and then be surprised next year and have a surplus, and then come back to us next year and say, you know what, we're running short 100,000 or 200,000 for security, and we need to, increase it because what we thought of X, Y, and Z is going to happen at these places. There was a lot more activity at the new community resource center than we had imagined, and we need to put extra people there or whatever. Or something could happen at this complex here that where it increases people coming in. So I know it's only 9 months, and that I understand what my colleagues are saying, but I'd rather overspend and be surprised and have extra money at the end of next year than have to come back to us and say, hey, we need a couple 100,000 to finish out the year.
Thank you, member Zay. Member Guston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I understand where member Desart and member Krajewski are coming from to kind of keep it honed in on those, 9 months on this. My only pivot on it is, recently we had an issue at the health department, a security issue, not of our doing, but of somebody that was there. And so in light of that, because we just don't know how the public is going to react and engage and all of that, my preference would be to just go with the full amount We don't use it, it doesn't get used, but if we use it and we need it, then we have it there to use it. So I'm fine with it the way that it is. I do understand where they're coming from, honing it in, making sure we have the books all lined up and for that period of time. But I also realize we have had some experiences, at least one recently at the health department. So I'm hoping that we'll keep this amount so that we can keep that security where it needs to be, so everybody's protected.
Thank you, Member Guston. We have, oh, okay, yeah.
Can
yeah,
I
sorry.
clarify real
Yeah.
quickly? There's a couple things going on. So as far as the full dollar amount, the full dollar amount's going to be around 1.3 million for the 12 months. That's in the budget. So the amount that we actually spend in a 12-month period won't decrease. And it's going to be around 1.3 million from 12/1/24 to 11/30 of 25. Now, Craig is doing something a little bit different where he wants to renew, I think, your contract starting on March 1, 2025 for that 9-month period. You can do that, and it probably would make sense to reduce that, but in the budget for 2025, we'll still have the full amount. Is that correct? Okay.
It's more of a matter of just cleaner bookkeeping.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's, you know what, should we turn off the fan just for the rest? Oh, God, that's better. It's kind of a matter of cleaner bookkeeping too, just making it easier for us to match the fiscal year starting at this contract, right?
Yes, I think that's the issue.
Okay, so we still need 12 months worth of security. It's just that, if we have the contract for this amount and we only spend, less, then we're still okay. I think, I don't know. I think it's not that we're spending more for security. We're just kind of trying to change the contract date. But let's see. Do you have anything else? to
I
add?
have nothing.
Okay. Member Ozog?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with Mr. Krajewski in terms of excess where we've seen travel budgets that were 300,000 more than what was spent, et cetera. But in this case, I agree with Mr. Zay that we should just approve this as it is. It seems like it's more of a housekeeping issue so that you finish the contract in November when our fiscal year ends. So I'm in favor of what we've got in front of us. Thank you.
Thank you. And Member Krajewski?
Yeah, so now this is a different question, because if it sounds like we're gonna spend 1.3 million, but then the old contract's gonna end on February 28th, which will be funded with part of the money that's in the budget. So this new contract should only be for 9 months. I mean, if the current contract that's gonna expire on whatever, March or February 28th, that money is gonna come out of our current budget that we just approved, the 1.3 million, and then this new contract's gonna be for 9 months, so the new contract should be for
Yeah,
9 months.
we could rerun the numbers, but yeah, your math makes sense. I think the goal of this is to start the contract on December 1st of each year, starting
Then
in
the date should be
2025.
wrong. If we're gonna do a new contract, it should be from December 1st to November 30th.
We already have a current purchase order that goes through February 28th of 2025.
Right, that's what I understand. That's
Right.
why the money in the budget that we're, at least
We're
proposed
trying to
budget.
match the fiscal year.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
couldn't this new contract with them only be for 9 months then?
It is.
Go ahead.
And it should be for 9 months worth of money.
When the RFP was put out a few years ago, it was for an initial period, always beginning March 1 through February 28th. And then, so this is the final renewal, but instead of renewing it for 12 months, we only want to renew it for 9 months. But again, this doesn't commit the money to being
I understand
spent.
that, but shouldn't the new contract be for 9 months? The old
It-
contract will expire and we'll use money that's in the budget to pay that. I assume we're not paying them yearly, we probably pay
Yeah.
them monthly.
Member Krajewski, I understand. So back to the original point, I think Craig and Nick were making is you're right that there is some fluctuation though in that summer year when CRC comes on that they don't know. So that's why I think the decision to keep it at that full dollar amount, it was for that fluctuation. However, to your point, yes, I understand what you're saying, the $250,000
When we
difference or
get to
something like that.
February and the old contract spend
3 months worth of the contract. Sure.
$100,000. So all we will have left will be that amount, and that amount should be what the new contract's for. It's still gonna be a full year. Cause it sounds like we're
Yes.
gonna have a contract for 1.3 million and an old contract that goes, which is actually more. So we'll probably have 1.6 million in approved Sure, we will. We've approved the contract through February 28th to pay them X. And now we're gonna have a new contract that's gonna pay them a full year's worth.
The current PO that specifies really comes down to the hourly rate. It goes a little bit up a little bit each year. Expires at the end of February. Begin this renewal that's before you today. The purchase order renewal would begin March 1 and end at November 30th. It would end 3 months early so that going forward, it's always concurrent with the fiscal year. And then next summer, we would put out an RFP for a whole new contract that would always begin December 1 through November 30th. But again, any amounts that come out of here, this board has approved with our budget request.
So we are gonna owe from December 1st to end of February, 3 months worth of security, which whatever that's gonna be, 300,000. Right?
On the current
On the
purchase
current
order that we're in
contract.
right now.
Right, the
Yes.
current contract, and so that's gonna come out of there. And now we're gonna sign a new contract for 1.3 million with them. And for 9 months. That's 1.6 million that's out there.
But it's not to exceed. We're not committing
I
any of this
understand it's
money.
not to exceed. I'm just telling you what, we have a contract that's not to exceed, but it doesn't make any sense to me. The first part, this is the second question now based on what you guys have been telling me. I mean, why wouldn't we just do a 9-month contract? A new contract for 9 months for
That-
1.1 million, and that would be, you still got 1.3 something in the budget, but the contract would be for 1.
That's what this is a 9-month
I
purchase
understand
order.
that, but why not for 1.1 million?
I could certainly go back and recalculate the numbers, but with the uncertainties and as
Right.
number of hours change, we don't have to keep coming
It
back
won't
then.
matter because you can't go any higher anyways, because the budget's 1.3 something that we've put in the budget. So you're gonna use 3 months worth of it.
So the current contract does expire on February 28th. We did budget that with the first renewal. This is the second and final renewal that will go to the fiscal year. We understand that it's 9-month contract that they did sign. It's not a full year. However, with the CRC coming on board 24 hours, we are uncertain of the amount that will be spent. So in working with the department, it was agreed upon that they would go for the full year just in case, because this is something they have not budgeted for. Looking forward, we know it's coming, but we're not sure how it will play out. So the contract that was signed will be for 9 months, not to exceed 9 months and not to exceed the amount of 1.3 million.
But you're still gonna have to come back to us. If you get more CRC, you have to come back to us because you're gonna already have spent 3 months worth of that in our budget in the first 3 months. So you're only gonna have 9 months left in this contract.
This one only has 9 months.
I understand.
The current
but it has
contract
one-
will
okay,
expire on February 28th.
But it's
It
got
will be 3 months
1.3
into
million.
fiscal 25 budget, yes.
I understand.
Your larger point, yes.
I know that we got 1.3 million in the budget, at least proposed budget, so we're gonna approve that. And that's all you get to spend for the year. And the first 3 months of the old contract's gonna take 3 months worth of that up approximately. You're only gonna have 1.1 million left. So even if the CRC does way more, you're not gonna be able to do it until you come back to us and ask for more money.
I mean, I could come back with a revised, but then we have to go back to the vendor and work on this RFP if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't,
Because this is just, again, it's been said not to exceed. When I presented the budget for OHSEM, I planned for the current service level and then beginning June 1, so roughly 3 months into this new PO that's before you today, we would increase coverage at the CRC. We chose June 1 as an arbitrary date, talking with the health department. That's already been in what was brought to you in my budget presentation. And again, the health department pays for that. So if they said we want 20 officers around the clock, it's a wash to OHSEM. That would be up to them to take to their Board of Health. So again, this gives us that ability without having to come back if, as needs change on the campus and the board approves the respective department paying for that additional service, then we're covered in here, rather than trying to adjust this for 9 months versus 12.
You're gonna have to come back if you need more, because by the time you get to February 28th, your 1.3 million that's in our budget this year is gonna be down to about 1 million. So that's all you're gonna have left to spend without coming back to
So,
us.
Member Kajewski, what you're saying is correct, but I will say, even if we reduce it, it will free up no money in the budget.
Right.
Right,
Okay,
right, right. I'm just saying, it will free up no money in the budget. But I will say, the unknown here is the health department. If the health department needs more money under this contract, they're not coming back to this board. They're gonna approve it through their.
What you're saying now, Nick, I'm not saying to reduce it. I'm saying you need to change this contract
But-
to only
but
do 9
It's
months.
a blanket contract that has, you're right, you can reduce it, you cannot reduce it, but what we're saying is we have this contract. If CRC needs it, then you have that capability with the health department. They would go to their board to have the budget for it.
But the only thing you're gonna have under this new contract is 1.3 million, 1.352 million, less what you spend for the first 3 months.
It is a matter of semantics. If you want to reduce it, reduce it.
Okay, I have a question. So this is a contract renewal, correct? So that's kind of why we left that number the same as it was. It's easier and this is independent of our budget. So
budget's set.
it's
Our-
just a contract. It's just a contract renewal. So we do not have to spend that much money, but we also don't have to come back here and be asking for this money if we go above your 1.1 million that you would like. So I just think that
I'm not wanting to reduce it. I'm saying that it sounds like we're gonna spend 1.3 for the year. The only problem is the first 3 months, we're gonna spend a third of that. So this contract we're renewing, all we're gonna have left in our budget is 1.1 million. That's all it's gonna be there. We've already been using 3 months. Maybe it's high because. of the
okay, but that's a
CRC.
matter of, this is just a matter of paperwork then that we're talking about. We're not talking about budget
If we're
items.
approving a contract for more than we're even gonna have.
We're just
in that
renewing
year's
the
budget.
contract. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna go with, everybody's speaking twice. We're gonna go with you, Chaplain, Desart, and, oh, what? Were you? You've already spoken though, right? Okay, all right. So we're gonna go with you, Chaplain, Desart, and then Zay.
What I was just gonna say is, I feel that this is information that it's been repeated, it's now redundant. I feel like you guys are saying pretty much the same things over and over again. So I think we should call the question, because if there is no other motion on the floor, if you want to amend, then we can amend, but at this time, this is the motion that's in front of us. We should take a vote.
Okay, is there a second on that? Second, okay. I guess we probably need a roll call for that. Well, if she's calling
This is
the,
just recall the question. We're voting on calling the question.
Okay, member you,
Aye.
member Zay. Chair Evans,
no,
member Chaplin,
No.
member Childress. Member Desart. Member Eckhoff. Member Guston. Member Krajewski. Member Ozog. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori.
okay, so let's continue the discussion. We're gonna go to Member Chaplin. and then
Thank you.
Member
So
Desart.
I'm a little confused now, just from all this. So I just want to get
The motion failed.
clarification.
Just-
So at first it was said that we were renewing this contract for the 1.3 million because we wanted to have it start with our budget year. Then we were told, no, that's not it. It's because of the CRC. So I'm a little confused as to which is it, or is it both?
I think the way Chair Evans explained a minute ago really said it well. This is the third year of a contract, so it was easiest to renew it for the amount of the initial RFP, knowing that we will not need the full amount, but the exact amount to be spent in FY '25, to which this would apply, because it's only for 9 months, we just don't know because of the CRC, or it's been mentioned, other buildings on campus. If departments or elected officials determine they need more security and they can fund it through their own budgets approved by their board or this board, then we can provide the officers, and this PO for the 9 months of FY 25 to which it'll apply will be in place. If that money's not there or not approved, then we don't spend it. So it's there. It was easy. It defines the hourly rate and we're good to go. And we asked the vendor, we said, we want to make it 9 instead of 12, because otherwise, every time we have a budget discussion, it's a lot of extra work to plan for 3 months of the fiscal year at one rate and 9 months at the other rate when the contract renews every year on March 1. So it is a paperwork. It'd be kind of like, I guess, a right, not a right to spend because you determine what we spend, but be like, think of it maybe as a limit on something, like a credit card limit. Doesn't mean you go out and spend the money without mom and dad's permission, but the credit card is there if it's needed.
It's a lot of work to put a contract
Yeah.
together. So the contract renewals make things a lot easier, and it is independent of what we actually spend. So the amount of time that it would take to reduce it to, say, 1.1 million or something, that would be very onerous at this point, right?
It would be. When I prepare the budget for your consideration, I go by every post, some of which county board pays for, like in this building. Some are paid for, reimbursed by the health department. We've added coverage in the last year to other locations after discussion with this board. But we figure out how many hours per post per day, for every day of the year. And then we get the amount that I bring to you.
So the 1,300 is for the 9 months, not for the 12 months. That's what you're putting in $300,000 extra for the CRC because otherwise we should have it reduced by the 300,000.
But that's rewriting a new contract then.
And
Okay.
it could be the CRC, it could be any other place that throughout the course of a year, there's a discussion about providing additional officers.
Thank you.
Okay, Member Desart?
Thank you. I'm listening to, what everybody's saying, and I heard Chair Evans say the word easy. And Craig, I heard you say it's easiest to renew the full RFP, but this is a county of almost 1 million people. Let's not try to do the easy thing. Let's try to do the right thing. And, I understand whether we renew for a 9-month period or a 12-month period, both contracts would say not to exceed. For reference, most of our contracts that we make throughout the county do not align with the fiscal year. So I'm not sure why we feel the need to align with the fiscal year on this contract. And finally, I really don't understand when the CRC opens, you're going to have to come back to us for additional security. So I don't understand why my colleagues want to put 9 months worth of security money into a bucket when, or 12 months of security services into this bucket when we're only paying for 9 months. And again, whether we put 9 months in or 12 months in, it's a do not exceed. So, and the argument about redoing a contract is onerous. Everything the county does is onerous. It's what we do for our constituents. So I, for one, would like to redo the contract to cover the 9 months, which it is. It's only 9 months. Thank you.
The contract is 9 months though. So are you making a motion or? Okay, Member Desart, Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm reading the amendment. So basically, this contract expires on the 28th of 2025.
The one that we're in now,
Right.
yes.
So instead of going out and rebidding this for that period, Monterey is extending the same rate on the renewal for the extended period. If not, we would have to come back on the 28th and go out and rebid this and go out for an RFP.
That's correct, Member Zay. We would have to start probably about now and start going out for an RFP to take
Basically,
effect March 1.
they're doing us a favor by extending at the same rate that we had on the original contract.
Yes.
Instead of us going out in RFP. So if we go for an RFP and Monterey raises their hourly rate, this could cost us a lot more money.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, thanks. So they're extending the contract beyond the original contract that we had with them.
They're opting to renew for the year 3 at only 9 months versus 12. And then we'll go out to an RFP next summer for when this expires. Or we go out for an RFP now and they may not get our business on March 1st, or they may get it, but at a higher rate.
It could be, right, it could be a higher rate.
Yes, it could.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so member, could you, we'll let you talk one more
So if
time.
they're gonna amend their contract with all the same rates, then our hours for 9 months at that rates is gonna be 1.1 million. I mean, you just put a new number in that amendment. They're gonna amend the contract or to extend it out to the end of November and at the same rates. And we're only gonna be projected to use 9 months worth of our rate.
They don't have to agree to that if they don't want to, though,
Okay, yeah,
correct?
they don't have to agree, but okay, we have 1.3 million in the budget for the year, correct? So the 1.3 is in our budget. How much do you think you're gonna spend in the first 3 months of the year till this contract expires?
So the first 3 months,
First
so
3 months, like.
December 1 of 24 through February 20 of 25. Well, I don't know the exact 25% of what we
Right,
budgeted for the
about
full year.
300,000. So come March 1st, even though you got this contract, you are only gonna have $100,000 or $1 million left in the budget. Not this contract, right, in the budget to spend. And that's all you're gonna have. And if you get to that million, you're gonna have to come over it. You have to come back to us and ask for more. So it doesn't make any sense that it has 1.3 in it.
We could certainly adjust the hours, which is where we get to that number. It's all about the billable hours, but I don't know, Valerie, if we have to go to a new RFP to reduce the hours, because that rate was stipulated.
You're not gonna reduce hours.
Rate will increase regardless. The rate, no, actually, the contract on the RFP, when it was written, we wrote it for 3 years. We asked for 3 years of pricing. So we knew there was an increase, a small increase each year. If we do go out for RFP, based on what we know in the market right now, the rate will increase higher than what we're paying
We're not
currently.
saying to go out for RFP. We're extending a contract with these guys till the end of November.
Correct, at the negotiated rate that we negotiated 3 years ago.
Right, and it's only gonna use $1 million.
Okay, so let's vote on this contract. Any other discussion from anybody who hasn't spoken? Okay, let's get a roll call. Aye. Oh, your microphone. Sorry, I was looking at my.
Sorry. Okay, member Chaplin,
Aye.
member Childress.
Yeah.
Member Desart,
Nay.
member Eckhoff,
Aye.
member Guston, member Krajewski, member Ozog, member Schwarzy, member Tornatori,
Aye.
member Yu,
Aye.
member Zay.
Okay, the motion passed. Let's see. So next, let's move on to JPSP 28-24. Can I get a motion to approve this item? Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to AT&T Mobility to provide wireless service for the Sheriff's Office for the period of August 15th, 2024 to July 24th, 2027 for a contract total not to exceed $404,000. 6B. Oh, shoot. What the heck? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, can I get a motion to approve? Somebody should have cut me off. Can I get a motion to approve JPSP 26-24? Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Real Time Networks, Inc. for the purchase of an asset tracer locker management system for the Sheriff's Office for the period of October 9th, 2024 through October 8th, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $93,524. We got a motion. Do we have a second? Okay, and any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Moving on to item, can I get a motion to approve JPS P-27-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Verizon Wireless to provide FirstNet service for tablets for the Sheriff's Office for the period of August 15th, 2024 to October 2nd, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $98,000. Okay, so we got some discussion. Member you, then member Chaplin, and then member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is, are these new tablets or is this replacing tablets and it's the same number that we always have?
Deputy Chief Billadou is on, but
Yeah, I'm here, Jason.
thank you, sir.
Okay, so what this is we have had these tablets in the cars for approximately 5 years, maybe a little longer. The tablets were built with Verizon cards installed in the tablets because at the time, the sheriff's office with the county was on Verizon. It was before our switch to FirstNet. So that FirstNet is a Scrivener's error that needs to come out of there. We need to get that fixed. So we've had this contract with Verizon. We've been with Verizon forever. Just recently, we were notified by the auditor's office that even though we've had this contract for multiple years, now we needed to do a purchase order, which is why you're seeing all three of these items on here. So these are existing. We are actually in the process of moving away from the Verizon cards. We have FirstNet cradle points in the cars for the Axon fleet cameras, and the tablets will just run off of them. So this is really a moot issue, but we're doing it because the auditor requested us to do so.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, then we have Member Chaplin.
Thank you. So the next, I think I'm stealing Brian's thunder here, but the next 4 items are all expired contracts. They all expired August, September 1st, and August 15th. So
Actually, none of them are expired contracts. They're all current service. They're all service that we plan to continue. They're all service that we've had for multiple years on all of them. But we were just recently notified by the auditor's office that even though we had all these things in place, that we needed to have these purchase orders generated. That's why some are backdated and some are that was at the direction of the auditor's office.
okay, thank you.
Okay, Member Krajewski.
Yeah, I had the same question. And can we get something from the auditor? I mean, because this has been going on for multiple years. And now all of a sudden that we have to do that. So I don't know if they've sent a memo just to the sheriff. Has the memo gone out to every department now?
I can reach out to the auditor's office.
Yeah, and find out because if they have, I mean, because Member Chaplin was taking my question why these were all backdated, but it sounds like these things have been going on for 6 years and now all of a sudden we have to put them on there. I don't. So yeah, if we could just get something from the auditor and why this is required now and wasn't the past few years.
I'll reach out.
Member Dessart, I have to apologize. I have such a hard time seeing you behind Member Childers. So yes, you're next.
Go to the, no, I'm just joking. All right, well, thank you.
That's better.
I just wanted to make the point with Billadou on the phone. Hello, good morning to you. So are these the tablets that were purchased for the sheriff's office during COVID? Because I know we bought all of our departments a ton of tablets. Are these those tablets? Because if so, they would be less than 4 years old.
No, you did not buy us tablets during COVID. You bought us laptop computers during COVID. The tablets that we've had in the cars, we had going back prior to COVID, 2018, 19 was our first round of tablets. We did renew the tablets, repurchase the tablets, only because half of our fleet of tablets was not upgradable. So we did have to redo them. That may have happened during COVID, but this program with Verizon in particular goes back to 2018, 2019.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. And for you, I would really love to see the auditor's report or request in our board packet, because there was very little on our board packet
That
about.
was, to the best of my understanding, this was phone conversations. We did not get anything.
Oh,
It was relayed to me over the phone.
thank you.
Again, I will reach out to
Jason,
the
yeah,
auditor's
thank
office
you.
for clarification.
Mr.
I'm
Billadou.
unaware of it as well.
Okay, Member Zay and then Member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So let me get this right. The auditor requested the sheriff to comply with his request to put these in purchase orders, and the sheriff's office complied. Boy, it sounds like a simple sounds like very simple. When the auditor asks you to do something, it's probably pretty simple to do it. So I want to thank the sheriff's office for complying with the auditor's request.
Okay, Member Krajewski.
It's a case, it was just a phone call. I really think if that's, a memo should go out. A memo should be sent out and saying this is a change based on, like last time it was a yellow book, maybe it's a blue book or something, I don't know, but just a memo should go out to everybody. I think you need that documentation to all elected officials and not just make a phone call and say, all of a sudden we've changed something, and because there's no documentation of that taking place.
Again, I'll reach out to the auditor's
And I
office.
would, Deputy Bill, I would also suggest when that happens, is send an email, something to get something in writing. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Now we'll move on to, can I get a motion to approve JPSP 28 24? Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to AT&T Mobility to provide wireless service for the sheriff's office for the period of August 15th, 2024 to July 24th, 2027 for a contract not to exceed $404,000. We had a motion. Do we have a second? All in favor, any discussion on that? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Moving on, can I get a motion to approve item JPSP 29 24? Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to AT&T to provide wired service for the sheriff's office for the period of September 1st, 2024 to February 16th, 2026 for a contract total not to exceed $292,200. And is there any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve JPSP 30 24? Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Comcast Business to provide Ethernet service for the sheriff's office for the period of September 1st, 2024 to March 31st, 2027 for a contract total not to exceed $162,240 per lowest responsible bid. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve FIR 170 24? Acceptance and appropriation of additional funding and extension of time for the Comprehensive Law Enforcement Response to Drugs Grant PY 24 the appropriation from $150,000 to $187,500. And okay, we got a motion. Do we get a second? Okay, any discussion on that? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve FIR 171 24? Acceptance of an extension of time for the DuPage County Health Department Heroin Opioid Prevention and Education First Offender Court Unified for Success Court Grant fiscal year 21. Discussion. Okay, Member Desart, thank you for standing up.
You are welcome. Okay, so my question is, there was nothing in the packet about this. So my questions are, number one, acceptance of an extension of what? It doesn't say what. And also it says HOPE. The HOPE Task Force is now the DuPage Council on Strengthening the System. So it made me wonder if there was extra money maybe in the HOPE Task Force that needs to be transferred to the new. I have no idea what this is because there was nothing in the packet. Thank you.
I'm going to answer it to the best of my abilities, and I'll clarify things with our probation afterwards. My understanding, at least from the procedural end, this was originally a grant that was offered by the HOPE Task Force. That money was allocated to probation and court services. They have not spent all of it. So this addition appropriation is just an extension of time to continue it. For that specific program, though, I will defer to probation and court services what they're using it for. I don't know if Suzanne, you or Bob McClellan.
Good morning, it's Bob McClellan.
That's okay. I really understand that what they're using it for is obviously heroin. Okay, I'll let our expert answer.
Yes, we received it from the HOPE Task Force, as Jason mentioned. We utilize the funds to pay for recovery coaches for our substance using probationers. The recovery coaches meet regularly with the probationers, and they coach them through the criminal justice system, life skills, things like that. And we have approximately $8,000 left. That's why we are seeking the extension.
That was very difficult to hear.
Okay, you were all garbly, so we didn't hear you, but I understand it's for the I understand what it's for. Thank you for the clarification. There was nothing in the packet, so I didn't know what this was, but just again, to clarify, I'm totally supportive of this program, whether it be called the Hope Task Force or the DuPage Council on Strengthening the System. Thank you.
And just for clarity to that, yeah, it's when they received it was still the Hope Task Force. Otherwise, any grants going forward would be called the DCSS.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Moving on to budget transfers. Can I get a motion to approve item 24-2606? Transfer of funds from part-time help, temporary salaries, rental of machinery and equipment, and regular salaries to interpreter services in the amount of $45,000 necessary to cover an increase in interpreter fees for the regular court cases and first appearance court from salaries due to a hiring lag. Any discussion? Oh, we have a motion. Do we get a second? Okay. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve 24-2607? Transfer of funds from rental of machinery and equipment to copier usage and IT equipment capital lease in the amount of $22,596 necessary due to accounting treatment of leases and new countywide copier contract. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve item 24-2608, transfer of funds from subscription IT arrangements to IT equipment in the amount of $65,000 necessary for the secured evidence lockers for the sheriff's office? Okay, we got a motion. Did we get a second on that? Okay, second. Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve 24-2609? Transfer of funds from new program requests personnel to regular salaries in the amount of $82,816 needed to cover the salary of an additional investigator that was approved in the FY24 budget. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve item 24-2610, transfer of funds from regular salaries to temporary salaries in the amount of $70,000 necessary to cover remaining salaries for interns until they are sworn in as assistant state's attorneys? Any discussion on that? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Next up, can I get a motion to approve JPS CO-9-24, amendment to purchase order 5567-1 serve issued to Advent Systems DBA Allied University Technology Services to increase the contract in the amount of $75,000 for one-time parts and labor for cameras and access control equipment for a new contract total amount of $217,080 in an increase in 52%. We got a motion. Do we have a second? Okay. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Any old business? Any new business? Okay, Member Eckhoff?
I'd usually say this at finance, but since our chairwoman of finance is here, I would just like to have a meeting where staff presents to us the highs and lows of the chairwoman's budget proposal in terms of who got what they wanted, who didn't get what they wanted, what are our expected sales tax revenue for the next 12 months. And I thought we used to do that, but maybe my memory is going. But I think that would be helpful because I wanted to specifically know what the budget surplus, or not surplus, but the reserve was going to be in terms of 3.5% proposed increases to all personnel. I also wanted to know, since $75,000 is in the budget for possible security that's not part of the sheriff's department, for the clerk's office, I wanted to know the chief judge and the sheriff's opinion as to whether or not that's needed, or if they have other plans for it, since those seem to be the two entities that have a direct responsibility for the security in the courthouse.
Okay. And then any other new business? Okay, Member Chaplin.
Yeah, thank you. So to address Member Eckhoff's comments, I think we can put budget discussion on our next finance agenda. That won't be a problem. We were going to do it anyways. We always have it actually after the budget's approved. We have it on our agenda for the next meetings until it's passed. So I'd be happy to include that as we always do. And then I just wanted to also thank the sheriff deputies for the work that they're doing. I know they're under a lot of pressure, being understaffed, and that kind of goes along with the security that we're talking about for these offices too. And that's why I wasn't thrilled with this contract, how it was written, but I thought it was important to support it because we need to have security on our campus. And secondly, I'd just like to remind all elected officials, since we are the Judicial Public Safety Committee, to be very mindful of the rhetoric and what we're posting on social media, because I think it's really important that we try to unite our community rather than have divisive, inflammatory things out there. So it's just a public service announcement. So thank you.
Member Dessert.
Thank you. I just want to say this in case people don't know, but congratulations to Bob Berlin and the state's attorney's office for their newest hire. Crew is a 20-month-old Labrador Retriever, and the clerk of circuit court, Candace Adams, swore Crew into duty yesterday. Crew will interact with vulnerable populations who pass through the state's attorney's office to ease the stress and provide a calming presence to children specifically and their families as well under traumatic and emotionally draining circumstances. So I just wanted to say welcome to Crew, our newest hire.
Thank you, Member Dessert. I want to go visit Crew too. So, okay, Member Ozog.
To piggyback on Member Chaplin's remarks, we have our 5 weeks today from an important election. And I think it's really important, and this is a general comment, elected officials use social media in varying degrees and, either informational, et cetera. But I think it's particularly important for this next 5 weeks that elected officials in DuPage County do not call out other elected officials. I think it's really important that we try to do whatever we can to keep the tenor of this election as calm as possible. I think we all have concerns about how this can all turn out, and I think we have an obligation as elected officials to keep things as civil as possible. Thank you.
Okay, any other new business? Okay, without objection, we are adjourned. Thank you.